I would rather eat my own shoe than sell one of my clients the off the plan garbage that people are trying to peddle out there. Okay. This video is going to be a little bit different today. This video isn't going to be me showing you a how-to like I usually love to do. There's one thing about this industry that's been really bothering me lately. It's the fact that this industry, or the property industry itself, is really starting to feel like one giant Ponzi scheme. And I'm not going to lie, it is really starting to annoy me. I open up my phone, and because I work in property, a lot of the ads that I get are property based. There's a lot of buyer's agents out there who, in my opinion, are grossly underqualified to be giving out the advice that they're giving. It's all about going again, recycling the equity, using tax tricks to pay down your mortgage. This is just simply not the way to do things. Now look, I work in property and I'm a property investor myself. So you might think it's a little bit rich coming from someone like me telling you, hey, maybe property investing is not for you. Because at the end of the day, frankly, I make my money when people settle home loans. That's really what my business is. But it's the marketing in this industry that's really starting to get under my skin. But let's not get it wrong. Marketing isn't inherently bad. I market all the time. This is marketing. This is how I market my services. I choose to be an educator of the industry, and I choose to educate people so they understand how to do things and why they should do things. And I'm absolutely not in the business of telling people what they should do. And with that being said, just remember, nothing in this industry is free. You might see on Instagram, get this suburb list, get this hotspot list, whatever it might be. At the end of the day, it's just a warm up to a $15,000 to $40,000 sales pitch. And one of the gripes that I have with this industry is that a lot of people get paid when something settles or when a home is bought and sold. No one is ever paid to tell you not to do something. And you could argue that it's true in every single business, but at least a lot of businesses or a lot of industries out there have a little bit of a backbone. Sometimes I feel like the property industry as a whole, there's a small part that does, but as a whole, doesn't really have a backbone. They are too busy preying on those who want a get-rich-quick scheme when property is absolutely not that. If you're not prepared to hold a property for 10, 15, 20 years and you can't afford to hold it that long, then you absolutely should not be buying property. But this is why education is so important. When I bought my first house, I remember distinctly a moment when my brother asked me, "Oh, so the mortgage you got, is it fixed or is it variable?" And you know what? I had absolutely no idea. And that's not because I was stupid or anything like that. It's just because there is so much to know in the transaction of buying a property that it's almost impossible to get all of that information on your own without someone who is a professional in the industry. And if you choose the wrong person, you're going to end up in a really, really sticky situation. So this is actually what led me down the path of this career in the first place. I felt like there needed to be someone in this industry who's going to take someone from start to finish and educate them as much as possible. And that is the main reason why I got into mortgage broking in the first place. I am extremely passionate about helping, guiding, and educating people. And surprisingly enough, I'm actually not that passionate about property and property investing. I understand it's an incredible wealth tool. I understand it from the top down. And that's why I choose to educate people on property investing and buying property, because if done correctly, can help you skyrocket your wealth into the future. Now, like I said before, a lot of people in this industry get paid when a property is bought and sold. Number one being the selling agent. Now, let's just remember, the selling agent generally is there for a really good purpose. Their function is to get the best price for the vendor. They don't work for you if you're a buyer. They absolutely don't work for you. If you're buying an investment property, you're more than likely going to be using a buyer's agent. They're going to charge a fee on top. Now, I'm a massive fan of buyer's agents. I do have a few good buyer's agents that I recommend and I use personally, but when you are going out there and choosing someone, you need to be incredibly careful on who you work with and make sure they are someone who understands your full financial position and has been there and done that before. And that's because one of the massive issues we are facing in the property industry is that the buyer's agent career path is not a heavily regulated one, which means there are a lot of people out there that don't necessarily know what they're talking about and shouldn't necessarily be giving out the advice that they're giving out. Now, there's three patterns that I see when it comes to property investing in Australia. The first one is the hotspot hysteria. This is where you'll see these ads all over Instagram talking about certain pockets of regional areas of Australia saying these are the next places that are going to boom. This is genuinely looking like one massive Ponzi scheme, because what happens is there are so many buyer's agents online garnering so much attention, they actually can shift markets by putting a lot of people into one certain area. This is going to prop up the value of that area, and we've seen it before where there is a quick 20 to 40% spike in some places and then runs flat for the next 2 to 5 years, and the people that come in a little bit late, they're stuck with their hands in their pockets wondering why their investment isn't going up like everyone else who got in that little bit early. The next is what I like to call the go again spiral. A lot of the advice online, and granted it is slowing down a little bit now because trust lending is something that has started to decrease, is that people are just continually encouraged to go again and go again and go again, to continually buy property as much as they can and use loopholes to be able to keep recycling their debt. If you do that, or you have done that in the past, just remember, you are one rate rise, one unexpected property expense, and one bad tenant away from your house of cards or your house of properties on a moderate salary coming crashing down. And the last one is the wrong asset trap. I have countless people in my DMs saying, hey, you have a lot of clients that you can work with. If you help us sell this off the plan property, we'll give you a $20,000 kickback. I would rather eat my own shoe than sell one of my clients the off the plan garbage that people are trying to peddle out there. This is where we end up with valuation issues, because people have overpaid for property because the developers are too busy lining all the pockets of the people that are helping them flog off these properties that are terrible investments. This is where we end up with people grossly overpaying for property that is simply not worth it. Now, you might start to think that I'm actually anti-property, which is really counterintuitive if you're a mortgage broker. Let me be straight. I'm absolutely not anti-property. I enjoy property, and I actually think property is one of the best wealth building tools in this country. I've seen countless people build their wealth through property, but I have also seen equally a lot of people ruin their lives because of bad advice when it comes to property investing. They've stretched themselves absolutely way too thin when it comes to their investment properties and haven't actually focused on their owner-occupied debt. The strategy here should be focus on understanding how your owner-occupied debt is getting paid down. Focus on understanding the loan features that you have available to you for your owner-occupied mortgage and learn how to pay it down quicker. And when it is small enough, and only then should you be taking on more debt to be able to buy investment properties. Do not rush into buying an investment property because of an ad on Instagram or because someone is putting on some high-pressure sales tactics to you, telling you, don't you want to retire early? Don't you want to become rich? This isn't what you should be doing. You should be focusing on paying down your owner-occupied mortgage and securing your family's future. Now, I will leave you with this. The risk in property is not the property. It's the bad advice attached to it. Good professionals, ones that you should work with, won't just sit there and pump your tires and tell you what you want to hear. They will tell you what you need to hear, and they will make you understand what is right and what is wrong when it comes to your particular situation. So do me a favor and do yourself a favor. When you're going through this process, slow down, ask better questions, and make sure the advice is suiting your lifestyle and your long-term goals.